Sis, you're talented. No. Yes, you are. You're an exceptional actor. I want you to know that. This is like in a video with my girlfriend. She's like obsessed with you.
Drive safe. Turn left. Recomputing. Okay, let's find a new route. Get ready to turn left. Turn left. Get ready to turn right. Turn right. This is where it ends. Time to hit the road. Go straight on. Ready to roll. Get ready to turn left. Turn left. Get ready to turn left. Turn left, and then turn right. Turn right. turn right. Turn right. Keep left, and then turn left. Turn left. Go straight on. Go straight on. Keep right, and then turn right. Turn right.
Could this be more of a news dump?
Friday at 5 o'clock. Well, it's ESPN. So, like, news dump. I don't know who's dumping it yet because I'm only halfway through it. But Friday at 5 o'clock? All right, so listen. Monday at 2, we'll reconvene, but I'm just poking my way through this. Let me first get ESPN.com. It's that final hour fellow to mask. It's a gender-free Friday brought to you by Texas. ESPN.com just dropped the long takeout inside the fallout of the Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel photos. The first question to ask is, The night the story broke was, I want to say, Tuesday of
Go
last
straight
week.
on.
Because in my calendar, we talked about it on Wednesday the 8th. I write down, we talked about everything. So Wednesday the 8th is when we first talked about it. So I'm pretty sure that this was first posted Tuesday night. Something is going to be my guess. I'm going to go back to a text exchange with Robbie Buckets at NBC Sports Boston. He texted me, go read page 6 in the Post. Because I told you, the first thing I thought it was,
yeah, what'd you say?
Yeah, right. What did I say? Because sometimes, not that I'm important or anything, but they're such prolific aggregators that even sometimes things we say get reposted there. And so the first thing he said was, go read the Post. I'm like, what did I do? What now?
Yeah, it was Tuesday, April 7th.
Okay, so Tuesday, April 7th. All right, so I guess I'm getting that straight because, listen, NFL reporter Diana Rossini was at home in Bergen County on Easter Sunday when a reporter from the New York Post approached the house. Talk about something you never, never a good sign. Bad enough when Robbie says, go, dude, you should check out the Post. Oh, God. How about when the Post walks up to your door? I was like, oh, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? The Post knocks on her door, on Easter Sunday. Later that Sunday, having learned the nature of the photos, so, there was an exchange. They said they had photos. She told the Post she was just in the owners' meetings where Vrabel was too, so I don't know what to talk about with the photos. Then when she learned the nature of the photos, she was on the phone with a crisis communications expert strategizing how to respond to the story, according to a person with knowledge of the call.
I done that though. Help me spin this.
So she knew out on Sunday. And with the help of a crisis management expert, that's what appeared in the story on Tuesday night. That's what the expert had you do. In the days leading up, the days leading up to the report, so they had 2 days. They had 48 hours. In the 2 days leading up and following the Post report, Rossini, Vrabel, and executives from The Athletic scrambled to respond to an explosive story that raised questions about the relationship between one of the most high-profile reporters in the NFL and a coach of a flagship NFL franchise. In addition to consulting with a crisis communicator, Rossini appealed directly to the Times company chief executive officer Meredith Levine to plead her case. According to 5 people with knowledge of the conversation, she also coordinated with Vrabel about how to respond to the Post, said a person with knowledge of the communication. Rossini and Vrabel, who are both married to other people, told the Post that the photos didn't accurately reflect their interaction. Vrabel did not respond to requests for comment for the story. NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said the league is not reviewing Vrabel's behavior as part of the league's personal conduct policy. A spokesman for the Patriots did not respond to a question about whether to review Vrabel's relationship with Rossini. Rossini told ESPN she did not want to comment for this story, and she did not reply to a detailed list of questions. Her agent said refer to the statement that she gave the Times. A little later on in the story. According to multiple people familiar with internal deliberations at the New York Post, the outlet was open to changing the tone of the story, or possibly not running it, if Rossini and Vrabel could provide compelling evidence to back up their statements that they had each been on a trip with friends.
This is the paragraph I just got to, and I highlighted the exact same line.
In the days before the story ran, Rossini consulted advisors, including a veteran in crisis communications. Rossini and Vrabel also communicated about how to respond to the Post, according to a person with knowledge of those discussions, and that came back out and I stopped reading.
Yeah, where's the photos of the girls' trip? Let's see 2 detailed receipts that you each have your own rooms at the Ambiente rather than one room that you rent for yourselves. This is probably what they've asked them for.
Yeah, the Post gave him an out.
2 days. The Post gave him 2 days.
Yeah, the Post gave him an out. The Post said, okay, fine, if you give us the evidence that proves this, we'll hold it. I mean, that's a
And
mess.
they still want to have those dumbass denials? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I fired that crisis management person when she reached out to.
I mean, grief. I mean, and maybe you just have to if you're cheating on your spouse and you don't want to get divorced. So you just go down like, no, that's not. They have a picture of you in bed with her. No, that's not her. That's not a woman. That's a refrigerator. And I'm not changing my story no matter what. Like, you just don't ever out. So they just had to go down with the ship. I mean, is that what it is? They had 2 days before they even posted the story to clean it up. And they couldn't even. And then so they still went ahead with the dumbass denial and the attack, like the gaslighting, as you kids would call it. Vrabel saying it's laughable if you think anything was more than an innocent interaction. You had 2 days before that thing came out to prove it was or give them something that would indicate it was an innocent interaction.
They couldn't do it.
Again, I mean,
Presumably, I haven't gone through the whole story, but there's another line in here that just quickly,
Go ahead.
it's at the bottom of the same paragraph. Rossini also offered to have her bosses speak to Vrabel, which the company declined, according to 2 people familiar with the office. So she did offer up to them, but I just think that's interesting, and they said no.
executives at The Athletic learned about the impending story from Rossini Tuesday afternoon. Internally, Rossini argued the photos were a sexist attack on a female reporter in a male-dominated field, people said. She made the argument to her bosses at The Athletic and called again Levine, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Levian maybe, who is, I forget, the editor of the New York Times, or someone, I'm sorry, I forgot who it was, I'm just reading on the phone, and said that she had been traveling with friends. The Post, though, wanted to turn it into a scandal, she told people internally. Rossini also offered to have her boss speak with Vrabel, okay, which the company declined.
While The Athletic had been quick to rush to her defense ahead of the story, now executives ask for more evidence from Rossini, such as text messages about an airport pickup, screenshots of planning the trip, or photos from a hike, the 3 people said. They said Rossini never provided sufficient evidence. Text messages about an airport pickup, eh? Like I said, let's see that from.
Rossini had become the face of not just The Athletic, but of the Times Company, too. She had. Last year, Rossini traveled to Cannes. Oh, Cannes.
Cannes. They don't have the, not Cannes.
I thought it was the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, Master said Cannes.
I understand what that is.
What's one of the
Cannes.
The Cannes.
No, that's not Cannes. Cannes Film. The Cannes Film Festival.
You're right, yeah, you gave the French pronunciation.
Thank you. How it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Cannes. C-A-N-N-E-S. She traveled to Cannes along with Times journalist Michael Barbara, host of The Daily, and business reporter Andrew Ross Sorkin to help woo advertisers. Oh, so this is like back in she become the face of the Times. So she went to the Cannes Film Festival. That was a line in Naughty Mass at one point, wasn't it? No, not even that. No. That was a line.
Naughty.
Yes,
The
the Naughty Mass. Naughty Mass.
They put me on the
The
map.
Mass is Cannes Film Festival.
A regular Russ Meyer.
She traveled to the Cannes Film Festival along with Times journalist Michael Barbaro. I'm so bad with names. Host of The Daily and business reporter Andrew Ross Sorkin to help woo advertisers. From the Super Bowl earlier this year, Rossini posted a selfie to Instagram of her and Levian together. A Super Bowl to remember, Rossini wrote, always so grateful to cover the best game of the week. But inside The Athletic last week, the Post report raised questions because it included an eyewitness account of Rossini and Vrabel at the resort alone, which contradicted her version of events. While The Athletic had been quick to rush to her defense ahead of the story, now executives ask for more evidence from Rossini, such as text messages about an airport pickup, screenshots of planning the trip, or photos from a hike. So again, that's what they're saying. They're saying, okay, you don't even have to give us, photos on the hike would be nice, but how about just some texts that prove that you planned the trip, or that you called for an Uber? You know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
just things that would.
It'd be so easy to come up with that stuff if you really did it. And then if this was on the level. Uber receipts, again, you can pull them up. Just pull,
Right. not scheduled to address the media until the NFL draft next week. It's unclear whether he'll address the players about the photos. Okay, so I'll stop. So there's not too much there. I guess the big one is these dumbasses. They were approached on Sunday and had a chance before it even posted, before it even was published, to bury it by just proving
That their story was legit.
and not like in a court of law, but just give us something
Right.
that corroborates
What
that,
you were saying.
that it was an innocent interaction. You were there with friends, you just happened to both be there at the same time with two different groups. Just give us something that shows that, and we won't even run the story. Okay, they couldn't produce it because apparently they're lying. Fine. There's people who cheat too. They lie. Now it's going to go to print, and you not only can you not prove it to the Post, low bar, you can't prove it. But you're still going to go ahead with that those cockamamie responses?
They were on the attack anyway.
Yep. I find that dumb. Like, I guess if you can get away with, I'm not thinking it's stupid just to lie, because it always comes out. It always comes out. You don't ever get away with it. It may take time, but it always comes out. Always. So I just wouldn't lie. But if you feel you've gotten away with the lie, I guess that's one thing. They didn't even get away with the lie, and they still went ahead with it. I just don't get that approach. I hate that approach.
With the Post gave them a chance.
And then you attack.
Post gave them a chance. Like, I'm kind of surprised by that. Like, you're not, your Post has got a reputation of like, but they gave them a chance. They gave them a chance to kill the story, and they couldn't kill it. The only other line I saw, this is more of a media thing, is small, because you're right, there's not much beyond what you got. There, a lot of it is background after the points.
That's too bad. I thought I was going to spend the weekend with this.
The Athletic initially defended Rossini publicly, but subsequently faced internal outrage from employees. Several times in Athletic staffers told ESPN.
This is a part of the story that, frankly, I'm kind of sympathetic to her. And I'm not only this stick up the ass, snotty New York Times writers.
Are you surprised by it?
No, but like, F you journalistic. It's like, stop it. They, like, you're saying none of the news people never compromise themselves with their sources. Able, like that part of it, because I can just feel it. The stuffy, stuck up, miserable old New York Times scribe who thinks there's some, they're in some sort of higher plane.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. What if they were women?
Yeah, there might be.
So, like, to me,
There probably are.
okay, but again, you don't think that, like, I would tell you that they have a right to be angry.
I guess.
Like, this is one of the women fight this constantly, Mark. They fight it constantly in the business, especially in the sports side. On the news side, maybe not as much, but they fight it constantly. Anytime there is any bit of information that they get, and a guy doesn't, let's just probably bang it.
I don't think it's that pervasive, Mass. I don't think a lot of people feel that way anymore.
I don't know.
I don't think that.
I don't know.
I think someone would want to believe that. But no one I know does that.
No, I'm just telling you that the perception is that.
Right, but I don't think most men do that anymore.
Okay, but what about when it really happened? In other words, when it really happens and they have pictures of it, and then the paper wants to defend the person,
They're jealous of how much she makes.
probably.
That's the problem.
Yeah, probably.
And then it's sports, and the New York Times, always hated sports, always stuck their nose down at the sports. They barely had a sports page. You know this about the New York Times.
Okay, so
That's why they formed it out in the first
I
place.
understand all of that.
Because they're above sports.
I'm just telling you, if it's a woman reporter that's angry, that I understand.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I'm just saying that piece to it.
And at the end of the day, if someone gets mad at her for doing what she did because it affects their profession, the perception of them, I think that's on her.
Yeah, most of the stuff. Yeah, I'm just telling you.
While we're airing annoyances, so we just got this handed to us by Jay Stu, right, like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This posted at 2 in the afternoon on ESPN.com. It's buried on this website. You have to scroll basically all the way down on the front page because the front page is all about WrestleMania 42, NHL stuff,
WNBA draft has to be there.
NBA playoff, NBA play-in stuff, names to know, MLB draft. And even if you go to the NFL portion of ESPN.com, forget the 40, the true measure of how
It's not that news box on the right.
No, it's not the news box on the right at all. You have to scroll down a little bit on the page. Rossini Vrabel saga. They don't want to have me even talk about this.
Official alert came at 5 o'clock, just before 5 o'clock.
And they posted it at 2. That's ridiculous.
Excited always to talk to Seth Rogen, big Hollywood star, producer, director, writer. I gotta tell you something why I admire him. You know, now everybody's doing media. It's mostly legal everywhere. It's not, people up the other way. But there was a time when they would interview you, and you would talk openly about weed. Like, like people talk about alcohol or anything. I used to think that's really fucking up because, people in Hollywood, they don't want to hear that the guy they're doing business with is smoking weed all the time. People are like, fuck that. I don't give a shit. I'm proud of the fact that I do weed. It's not a big deal. Everybody does it. So I'll talk about it. And I do admire your honesty that you remain true to that all these years.
Thank God. Thank God that no one discovered the weed secret in the truth. It was you this whole time. Yeah, no, it's funny. I would talk about it all the time. And I remember David Letterman used to love to ask me about it. And one time he was talking about it during a commercial break. I was like, why do you ask me about this all the time? And he said, he was like, because no one else will talk about it. And he's like, I just think it's fascinating that you're willing to talk about it. And I think he was in the back of his head. He was like, I get a front row seat to this guy destroying his own career live on my television show. But thank God it didn't go that way for me.
Maybe you're one of those guys who normalized it and finally they did this shit legal because it was so nothing.
I agree. It might have helped. In my most egotistical moments, I'd like to think I moved the needle the tiniest bit towards, normalizing it, making people see it. You a productive member of society.
More than being productive, I could say you're the most productive guy in Hollywood. I was looking at the list of shit that you've accomplished, and for a guy who you say, I get high every single fucking day. You haven't missed a day since, I don't know, since what, 12 or something?
I was in Singapore once. You can't smoke weed there. Other than that, in 2011, I was in Singapore for 3 days. So those days I didn't smoke weed because they'll literally fucking kill you if you smoke weed in that country. They put a little thing in your passport when you arrive that says, if we find drugs on you, we will execute you. And I get how many times I filmed places and then got there and opened a pocket or something and then, oh shit, there's a fucking roach in my pocket. But, so that was a scary walk through the airport in Singapore.
So when you went to Singapore, you were like, hey man, I'm not fucking. Was it, since you got, there's some kind of stat out there that you got to buy every day of your life since, since how old? I don't know.
I started really there when I was probably like 17 years.
Okay. So when you go to Singapore, you cannot smoke weed because I guess that is a good deterrent. It works.
It's a good deterrent. If you never have a drug problem, go to Singapore.
And by the way, I think they kill you. They don't just like shoot you. They cane you.
They cane you. Remember that guy? That guy. That's what the funny thing about Singapore is like they have like big cultural references. They caned the living fuck out of a dude like 30 years ago. Yeah.
Why, first of all, why would you go to Singapore when not only they cane you?
Exactly. I went because I was promoting the news ordinances, so I would take breaks in Singapore. I had to. It was for work.
And I would have said to the studio, listen, I'll do anything you want. I'll go to every country on this planet, but I'm not going to Singapore because they will take it. And there's chances that it's a dog
we will execute you. I was like, Jesus Christ.
And it's not even, if you steal something, we'll cut your hands off.
Yeah.
Pot, we will kill you. You will be killed your hands.
Yeah. I can live with no hands. You okay with no hands? Luckily, you can just drink yourself into oblivion in Singapore. They don't give a shit about that. Nobody gives a fuck anything about Singapore. You can drink yourself to death.
Here's my main question of the day. Great, you can only answer. Why are people who are into weed now still buying illegal weed? In other words, you can go now to a store.
Yeah.
And the weed is packaged, beautifully rolled joints, and say nobody sprayed it with paraquat or whatever. And you remember that?
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I got a hold of some of that.
Yeah.
Why now would anyone go to some shady character and buy weed?
Here's a few. One.
I knew you. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
One is just allegiance, or, you know, like, I was in this situation where I bought weed off these guys in LA, and meanwhile, illegal weed was kind of coming into the market, and I just felt bad for them. Like, I literally just knew. It's like that mom and pop store that you go to, and you know that you're without your business, they're that one purchase away from closing every week, and if you weren't there, they would maybe close, you know?
This is a very good point. I didn't think of that. You know, I took my granddaughter to a toy store for the first time, and it broke my heart. I said, you have to come back to this toy store. You don't see toy stores anymore. And it was this little toy store, and a guy working there who was a fan of mine, and it just broke my heart, you know? It's still standing there.
That's how it is with the weed dealers. You have a loyalty to them. You don't want to see them go up. You don't want to see them have to find a new line of work or start selling a new type of drug. It's so that happened to me. Is that
Good
I
straight
have
on.
loyalty to the guys I bought weed with, and I felt bad for them.
And you still will call them from time to time and say,
I waited over a decade. I have no idea.
you no longer do that.
I don't know what they're doing anymore. But eventually, you're like, come on, it's legal. Well, if I'm eating your back in a car or driving on the block, it's like if it's like I was buying cheese from a guy on the street. Like, there's no need to put myself through this anymore. Yeah.
How long did it go on that you felt that, like, your weed was legal, and how long did you stick with your dealer?
Well, then eventually the guy, I was like, where do you get this weed? And the guy was like, honestly, we just get it at the store. And I think a lot of them probably just got jobs at the store. Like, I think eventually they were like, oh, I can actually like make a salary instead of throwing it away.
That is so great. Your weed dealer went to the store where he bought big leaves.
Yes, I can raise the price. It's just like, he said it to me, I could tell as he was saying it, he was like, oh no, I shouldn't be saying this. Like, I can literally see on his face, he's like, I let the cat out of the bag on that one.
So in your routine today, did you get high before this interview to sort of get prepared for it?
I smoked a little.
You smoked a little weed. Do you sell through your company infused seltzers?
Yes.
You do, right?
We do, yeah.
I follow you on Instagram, and I always get like ads and stuff for Houseplant where you would be showing some of their new products.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't get that anymore. Not that I'm thinking about it.
They did change their algorithm, and it is harder on new products, basically, than it used to. Like, they did something that was a little more conservative when it comes to promoting the brand.
Like, I haven't seen anything about the seltzers infused with weed.
I'll send some your way. They're really good. They taste amazing, and they have no calories, no sugar. It's like drinking water, but there's weed in it, and they're carbonated. They taste. I drink it just to drink it. Like, I mean, I'm high all the time anyway, so it's not making like a noticeable difference in my day-to-day life. But like, I literally drink it instead of water.
Oh my God! So you don't even drink water without weed in it?
No, why? If there's water with me, you don't want to why would you go to weedless water?
Oh my God! So Houseplant, your company, which by the way, again, a leader in this field, you kind of developed through your pottery that you made. First I thought, what the hell is that doing? It was a good product. It was a smart product. It was an ashtray that you could balance your joint on there, and you didn't have to struggle with it, and you would stay lit. It was a good product. But now you're selling seltzer with weed. And is this a popular product? Are you seeing great profits from it?
Yeah, it's doing very well. What's funny is it's not legal in every state, and we just were in Texas where weirdly enough it's legal, and I did like a little signing that's like a liquor store where you sell weed, and hundreds of people showed up. It was funny. It was like a line hours long. It's a great product, and I think for weed especially, like weed is very strong. And I encounter all the time people want to, they want to in some way ingest weed, but they've had a terrible experience smoking. And I get it. Like, the weed I smoke, if you have one hit of it and you're not someone who smokes weed, it will fuck up your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, there's no coming back from it sometimes. But the beverages are so much more, like, measured, and they have a low dose, so like, if you drink one, you will not have a bad experience. If you drink a few, you'll just die in a great way. But, yeah, I accept a lot of people into parties where they're enjoying the shit.
So your seltzer would be probably good for someone like me who
Yes.
has a little bit of a buzz.
Yes.
I don't want to be wasted.
Yes.
But that's why you're edible.
No, edibles are fucking work.
It's fine. You can handle anything, smoke this incredible super pot, and yet the edible you can feel.
Oh, I've done almost every drug available to a human, and the only times in my life I have felt way too high is from a weed. Like the only time I felt like unpleasantly high in a way where I'm like, I wish this would fucking end, was from eating a weed. I've been on acid and shrooms and Molly, and it's been intense, but I've never like, please stop this. Like, please, for the love of God, make this end. But I've eaten a weed brownie one time I ate a weed brownie and I was like, this was the worst mistake I've ever made in my entire life. One time I was at the Golden Globes and I ate a weed lollipop. And I thought I was pulling it off. And I was at the party after, and I was so high, I was like, I feel insane, but I think I'm pulling it off. No one seems to notice. And then I saw Bryan Cranston, who I actually had never really identified once or twice, but I shook his hand, and he just looked at me, and he like lowered his glasses, and was like, what is wrong with you right now? Turned to my wife and was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, that's our cue. People I barely know were telling me that I look completely fucked up.
That's what's so funny about it. There's no part of me that says I'm going to the Golden Globes. I could possibly, be around a lot of people that I know. I'm not going to suck on a weed lollipop. There's no part of me that says that. It's remarkable. You don't worry.
One time I did acid, we went to like a party, and then there was a huge line to get into the party, and they were like, if you do this live interview with someone, you get to skip the line and go right into the party. And I looked at my wife who knows I'm so high, she's just like, just do it, just fucking do it. She's like, I think you can do it. And so it was that, I actually saw her recently. It was that Amelia, I can't remember her name, the woman with that chicken shop picture. She was the one who, I thought I pulled it off okay. It was like a little sketchy to me, but, and truly as I was doing it, I was like, okay, if I was like standing there holding the microphone with the camera in my face, just so high, I was like, this was actually a bad choice. This is something I should have done. But I fucking was on acid to do that shit. I was on acid. But I like you.
I like when you get something like you go, yeah, I think you could do it.
I think you could do it. Oh, yeah. Another time, my wife has a good faith on my abilities to handle myself on acid. I was at, we went to a dog concert. And we were backstage. We were kind of in this like bar area. And I know Madonna's manager, and he came up to me and was like, Madonna has a part of the show where she brings someone up on stage and you like, this is a fucking arena, and you like judge like a Vogue contest with her basically. Right. And I'm like so high, and I look to my wife, and I'm about to say no, and my wife just goes, yes, he'll do it. Yes, if you want him to do it, he'll do it. And I turned to her, and I'm so high, you want me to go down there in front of a fucking arena full of people and judge a Vogue contest? She's like, you can't say no. Once in a lifetime opportunity. And thank God, her manager was like, I'm gonna phone. She's like, she might have gotten someone else to do it. So just keep your phone on, and I'll text you at some up with her from concert. And so the whole time I'm watching this Madonna concert, just staring at my phone, tripping my ass off, be like, please, for the love of fucking God, let me get a text message saying I don't have to go out on stage. And I'm just getting like higher and higher and higher as the show goes on. And then think, yeah, finally, like an hour into the show, I got a text from she met someone else. And it was maybe one of the biggest releases, right? I don't know. I genuinely don't know what I would have done if I had to do it. I would just go, I got like fake and shit myself in front of an arena full of people tonight.
I can't even tell you how I wish you had been called by Madonna, because that would have been legendary.
It'd be a better story. It's like, right, yeah, it'd be a much better. I can appreciate it. It'd be a better episode if I was.
What were you on tonight? To me, I haven't seen you in a while, but I watched that Adele concert.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you were the guy that kept flashing through in the audience.
Yeah, me and my wife, we got a call. There's an Adele concert. Do you want to go to the Adele concert? We're like, yeah, we fucking want to go to an Adele concert. That sounds fun. And so we did get just incredibly high. Like, it's like we parked there, like hop boxed the car, and then it was like, we're going to a concert. It's going to be fun. And then we walked out, and it's
When you say incredibly high,
Yes.
you mean before the Adele concert you consumed massive amounts of marijuana?
massive
Or is
amounts
it
of
acid?
what was your like? I think that it was at that point I was also maybe downloading the shroom chocolates that I had been given. So yeah, it was probably like a cocktail with a lot of weed and maybe a little bit of shroom chocolates. And then we walked to like where we first we slowly start to see like camera crews and and clearly we're like, this isn't just a normal concert, that they're filming this concert. They filmed it back. But
You're co-starring in the concert.
well, then I got that we get there, they give us our tickets, and like our seat numbers are A1 and A2. And I was like, that seems close. That seems very close.
Maybe the seating's backwards. Maybe the
See,
seating's
exactly.
backwards.
They start in the back, and so we slowly are walking, and we find our seats, and we could not be more fucking center of this show. And they're filming the whole thing. It's in a huge primetime special, which I did not know at all. And they're filming like a camera crew with a rig, like 6 inches in front of us. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on right now? I've never met Adele. I've never seen Adele in real life before. I was like, how did this happen? And so the whole time, I'm just like, well, I gotta act, I'm gonna look like an engaged concert goer throughout this experience. And I think I made it together, but it was a lot of pressure.
There was nothing worse than being high and then being told you have to keep it together.
How do you want to get it? Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've also been at award shows and stuff many years ago where I was and we kept kind of getting the crowd and they just looked so down. And then the next day we told the story like, Seth Rogen didn't enjoy that award show. I was in such a bad mood at that award show. I was in a bad mood at the time. I know it was on camera. So now I try to actively look like I'm having a good time and I'm engaged. Because I don't want people to think I'm after.
I read that you were on acid recently when you went to see, I don't know, maybe it was the Grateful Dead show at the theater in Vegas. Is it great? Because to me, I'm old-fashioned. I love to go to a concert. I don't want a bunch of screams distract me. I love to watch the band and get lost in it. But people tell me, like yourself, that the Sphere is the greatest thing. What is it like to be on acid at the Sphere? Was this a good idea?
It was a very good idea. Was it the best idea? One of the best ideas I've ever had in my entire life.
And the screens and everything, it's not too much input.
No. It's funny because I had been there for YouTube, and I call myself a media YouTube fan. I don't know if I ever got over that thing. Songs in my phones. I think that's a violation that will forever permeate in my life.
Well, I would explain that to me, because sometimes I'm out of it. I remember when YouTube, they gave you a free album with your perfect Christmas album, something.
It just showed up on your phone one day.
Yeah, just by the way, why are you so? Because you have great points of view. I'm kind of silly. Like, I'm not offended by it. I'm like, okay, they gave me a free album.
At the time, I had a highly curated music on my phone, and then all of a sudden, it's like I put my phone on shuffle and fucking Vertigo would come on or something like that. I was like, I don't want this. This isn't what I want. I don't want Wu-Tang and Vertigo.
So you saw.
I saw you two there,
Keep
and
left.
the whole time, I was like, this is good, I guess, but like, they were not embracing outward to get the psychedelic attention of the sphere. Like the sphere wasn't steering as much as you wanted the sphere to steer. It was a lot of Bono's head kind of floating around the sphere, like bouncing around and shit like that. It felt a little bit like you were watching a Bono's screensaver for like a bunch of which is fine.
But it's funny because they were the band that was so into like multimedia and all that stuff. You think they would have had more than Bono's head just floating around?
Well, I think they were at odds between like, because it is true what you're saying. Like, atmosphere of the band is not so much the center of attention. It's like they are contributing to the whole overall experience. And I project that maybe you two was at odds with that. Could not fully embrace not being the center of attention in the band. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it felt a little conflicted as to like what are we doing here? But the Grateful Dead show, the second that shit started, I was just like, these fucking guys get it. These guys get what to do. But literally from the second it starts, like you're in San Francisco and the whole thing feels like taking off into space and like you're flying through space and cosmos and like within 30 seconds I'm like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Wow.
It literally was, it like knocked me off my feet. And there were parts where I like, couldn't believe what was happening. I just kept, like, we just kept all looking at each other. Like, it's like, can you fucking believe this shit?
Are you a working man's dead kind of guy? Where did you get it?
I mostly got into it because in Freaks and Geeks there was an episode where Linda Carlini's character gets into the Grateful Dead. And that was actually like my first time hearing them. So in American Beauty is the album that she listens to on the show. And the show Freaks and Geeks ends with the song Ripple, like, which is a very great song. And so it's that was probably my first like I actually mostly like that album. You know, I like American Beauty, which is like probably very skilled their album, but less experimental. So go straight to it.
That's the other thing we need to do. The longevity. You know, it's Freaks and Geeks is when you moved to LA in your teens.
Yeah. And 25 years ago, this is the 25th anniversary.
That's fucking crazy. Here's my thing about you being the world's most productive snowboarder, or at least busting the myth that anyone with your time. But you've never done crack, have you?
No.
Imagine you come in here and it turns out you become a crack.
That's what it is. That's a little bit dark. By the way, Seth has a fucking crack brand. He's promoting it. But the name Crack House does go pretty well together.
Speaking of Freaks and Geeks, why did you show up 45 minutes late for the first table read? That's another thing. You are very relaxed. I mean, your first big job, Freaks and Geeks, and you're having a table read, you show up 45 minutes.
It was
Why
on
is that?
purpose. It was my dad. And I know my dad was driving me when I was 16 or I couldn't drive in LA. My dad had flown out with me to shoot a pilot. And it was before like GPS navigation. And so literally like we were supposed to go east on Ventura in the valley to get to the studio, and instead he went west on Ventura. And we were driving, I think we hit the 405, which is like 25 minutes in the wrong direction. And we were like, oh no, we were just completely lost. And like I showed up catastrophically late, and I've never been late again in my entire life.
You know what the Hollywood thing is? You should have fired your dad.
Exactly.
That's it. You're done.
Your dad.
You're never going to be in here.
Roger.
And you're out.
You're out, Dad.
I love that story that you and me both, you know, all the both That's it. What is it you say that we're going to put your song to a singing meatloaf?
Yeah. Well, it's very rare. When you're writing a movie about anthropomorphic food that talks, like, Meatloaf presents a rare opportunity comedically. The fact that there's a guy named Meatloaf, and then we thought we'd use I Would Do Anything for Love for the movie, and we were like, oh, we can show Meatloaf, like a Meatloaf as Meatloaf singing the song. That's great. So that's what, so like, we had already cleared the song, but our lawyers told us, like, if you want to show Meatloaf as a Meatloaf, you gotta get permission from Meatloaf. So I had to call Meatloaf. And the first thing that happened is that we had a scheduled call. It was probably 30 minutes.
This is Hollywood. This is why your new TV show is so great. We'll get to it.
Because I had to call you.
You had to call Meatloaf.
I call Meatloaf and the call starts. So like the phone rings like 15 times. And then he eventually answers it. And hello? And I was like, Meatloaf? And he goes, yeah, I'm taking a nap. You woke me up for a nap. And I was like, oh no, that's a bad start. And I was like, so, Mr. Rose or whatever, he goes, call me Meat. All right. And I explained to him the joke of meatloaf. Proving it's a joke. It's just saying meatloaf. But thing. I had a comment of stammering, picture kid, and then there's just like 10 seconds of silence. And he just goes, yeah, I get it. And then he hung up. I was like, that was the whole meeting.
Go straight on.
What I love about that story, like you scheduled a meeting with Meatloaf, and then he's yelling at you because you woke
Because I
up.
woke up from an accident.
Excuse me, what do I need to do? Why am I apologizing?
We had a time.
Since your last appearance, you produced 4 comic book based series, The Boys, Gen Z, Diabolical, and Invincible. You produced and starred in Family Comics. You produced and starred in Platonic. You voiced Donkey Kong in Super Mario Bros. By the way, that's got to be
It is a pretty big deal.
you just do your voice, right?
I just do my voice.
That's it, like, because you have such a distinctive voice.
I do. I know. Every time I get a voice acting job, I'm like, I'm just going to sound like me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm not coming up with a new character.
Look like Rich Little in there. Doing me, which is great. It's fun.
You voiced the character in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, which I also wrote.
So getting back to my original premise,
Yeah.
there is a man who always talked about getting high. Never tried to hide it. Everyone told him. I told him. I'm Richard Clear. And
Go
this
straight on.
worldwide box office. That's genuine. Are you ready? Are you sitting down?
I'm sitting.
$9.3 billion.
That's pretty good.
$9.3 billion in revenues entertaining people. I'm blessed. I mean, that's fantastic. And it started at a very young age. I mean, we talked to you many times about you being like a 12-year-old stand-up comic and everything, which is amazing. But here's the thing that blows my mind, right? Your whole career. When you're 17, maybe 18 years old, you were writing for Gary Shandling and Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
When, like, Gary would do an award show or something, right?
Yeah. Gary hosted, whatever year he hosted the Emmys for the first time. I think it was 2000. So,
How old were you?
I was 18.
Isn't that something? Were you on the list?
Yeah, it was so
probably can't imagine.
It was so crazy. I was a huge fan of it. I mean, Larry Sanders Show was like my favorite show of all time. Young, especially. I was so lucky when I moved to LA. The group of people I fell in were like Gary was sort of like the patriarchal figure group. It was amazing. Yeah, we did this silly sketch where it was the first season Survivor was on, and I remember there was a sketch where it was their hosts were getting eliminated, like in the Survivor-esque elimination thing, and I got to go to the shooting of it. I got to write jokes.
Gary Shandling. What a hockey thing.
Oh yeah, obviously.
And I think your new TV show has tremendous Larry Sanders Show vibe, and I love that. That's my favorite sort of vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Like getting me behind the scenes. I love it. It's called The Studio. You play a studio head mode, so we're selling out because your blog. By the way, Bryan Cranston did blog.
Yes.
And it's so great. He wants to make a movie about Kool-Aid. You go, I can't make a Kool-Aid movie, but I want to be a studio head so bad. And then you get Martin Scorsese. He wants to make a movie about Jonestown.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, do you mind if we call it the Kool-Aid movie? He goes, I guess so. I mean, that's a fun fucking premise. That's a great first episode. That was really good.
Yeah.
I love it.
I bet if we would make this joke on the show, there would be a fucking Kool-Aid movie in the next year or so. So we beat them to the punch.
Go straight on.
And no doubt you will be the voice of it.
I actually would do it 100%. Even in this, even after making fun of it, I have no problems with anything else.
It must have been great fun writing this TV show because, you're goofing on everything. I mean, you've been around Hollywood since you were a kid, since Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
And you've seen everything go down. And I'm sure there are studio heads right now today being forced to make movies they don't believe in.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, hey, if I want to keep my job, I got to just, the money guys want this. They want to put out a Kool-Aid movie.
And it's a real conflict. Yeah, and that was like, I think in like Larry Sanders Show was such a huge inspiration because like, he is sort of like the top of the totem pole in a lot of ways, but he's also like a very sympathetic, tragic character on the show. And that was something that we were very inspired by. Yeah, like, we've been making movies for, years now. The studios. And I will say, like, I think the biggest misconception that we try to put in, a big part of the show is that, like, these people do actually love movies. Like, they're not just money-oriented people. Right? They want to keep their jobs and they want to make movies that are big hits, but they also love cinema, and that conflict that we would see all the time, people getting torn in these two directions, was always very funny to us because we could see how tragic it was and how these people that love movies just as much as we did were forced to constantly compromise their values and their own goals and their own legacy in order to not get fired very unceremoniously one day because their movie didn't make as much money as it was supposed to.
You said a studio executive told you when you were a teenager, well, I got into this because I love movies, and now I feel like it's my job to ruin them.
Yes.
And that's the premise of your show.
It's essentially the premise of the show. And I remember him saying that sentence in the show. And it was like we were getting notes on the script. We were very young. On these guys, and made that admission to us. And it was something that we never forgot. And I think it helped us navigate the entire industry. Like, I think we have a good understanding of the people that we are working with. We understand that they are truly caught between show and business. Like, for me, it's easy to sort of focus on the show part of show business. And it's easy for me to really just make stuff that I'm proud of. I mean, not easy, but like, it's easy for me to focus on making things that I'm proud of, things that I watch, and I hope that they're successful, and sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But I just know personally, I feel much better if I made something that I think is good and I'm proud of. And if it makes no money, then I can reconcile that much easier than if I made something that is bad, and even if it's bad and makes a lot of money, I'm not as happy with it because if it's good and makes no money.
When you were writing, is it the same process? Does Apple TV send you notes? Like, you have to send them scripts and say, this is what we're going to be shooting. So it's the same process.
Yeah.
And if somebody gets you notes, are you at the point where you're like, I've done this a million times?
I mean, we never do notes we don't want to do. Like, but truthfully, they have good ideas sometimes, and it's not like a list of just catastrophically bad things you don't want to do. And they are the audience in some ways. So like, you don't want anything to be confusing. So sometimes it is helpful just to get like, you can understand this a little bit more. And it's so inside also that it was nice to get perspective. Like, maybe you could explain what a lawyer is a little bit more concisely or something like that, But in general, they were very important. It was not a process.
One of my favorite things about the show, especially the Golden Globes episode, is you get a whole bunch of people who are actually playing themselves. Like in the first episode, Martin Scorsese was playing himself. And I love shit like that.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's probably great for you to write stuff for these people. It's fun. You direct these episodes. You tell Martin Scorsese when you talk like Ron Howard's in one of the episodes. Do you ever give them a note and say, maybe try this? Because these guys aren't really, Ron Howard's an actor, but you know what I mean?
Yes. You have to direct them. Yes, for sure. We have to give them a lot of it, which is a directing. It was one of those things where, like, we wanted Martin Scorsese, he was our ideal guy. We got Martin Scorsese, we couldn't fucking believe it, and then it, like, dawned on me, and then we were like, we have to direct Martin Scorsese in the movie, or in the show. Like, it's like, the guy who made Goodfellas. The guy who made Goodfellas. Arguably one of the greatest living filmmakers, one of the greatest directors of all time. Someone who also, for us personally, like, we were obsessed with Martin Scorsese. Like, when we were writing Superbad, we were like, weirdly, like, Goodfellas was like a huge inspiration to us, and after hours, obviously, like, those kinds of movies, and so it was one of the scariest things I've ever had to do in my professional career. I'm curious.
Were you high when you directed Martin Scorsese?
Probably less so that morning than I was.
With you, I never know.
the guy
Yeah.
who died.
They spread the virus. That's diarrhea.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think that's been true. But sure enough, there's that zombie shitting all over some actor. And it's fucking funny.
We really came alive that day on set. Like, we've been shooting a show for like months, and then it was like the day we were shooting the zombie diarrhea, like scenes from the movie and the show. And me and Evan were like, this is like, we should be doing this. Like, we've taken a swing at elevated television, but at the end of the day, our calling is being projectile zombie diarrhea movies.
It's one of the episodes on Golden Globes where you're so honest about Hollywood and just the practice of it. You spend the entire episode trying to get Zoe Kravitz to thank you for her acceptance speech.
Yeah.
You're so fucking depressed that it's so ridiculous. And it's so true. Every time I watch a fucking award show, it's like, thank you, Ted Sarandos. And you're sitting there as your character in the studio, just desperate to the point where you'll go over to the teleprompter and try to change it.
Yeah.
So that you get thanked. I mean, that's so fucking great. Zoe Kravitz is very good at it.
Oh, she's great.
She's very good at it because she tells everyone thank you on the Golden Globe here. It's just an honor to be nominated in Bobby. So she says, this was so great. She goes, I'm not going to fucking award. And I'm going to get up there. I'm going to accept the award. And first I'll be coming in and just thanking you, my fellow nominees. And then I'm going to cry. And then I'll recover from the crying. And then you just go, are you going to mention it? And she's like, no. And it's so great.
That is very based on real life. Like, I personally have been a part of a movie, Whoa, and we went, and afterwards, we're at like the after party, and we're celebrating, we're going crazy, and I see one of these tears. And I assume they're crying because they're happy, because we are movie one going to glow. And instead, we were like, are you crying because you're so happy? And they were like, no. They didn't thank me. And we were like, oh, no. And then we interviewed almost every head of every studio, kind of past and present, like in the months leading up to the show. And as we were writing the show, we wanted to get a lot of insight. And it was one of the most consistent things that was said to us was, you just want to be thanked at the award show, by first and last thing. Because, and it makes sense, a lot of people don't realize this, and I really like think about it this way, but their names are not on the movies. Like, and they feel like they really contributed. And sometimes spend years of their lives working on these things. But if you work at the studio, you don't really read the actual credits of the movie. And unless someone like Google, who was the head of the studio during the year that movie came out, no one would ever know anything to do with it. So it is the only like way to set in stone that you have anything to do with the movie is to be thanked at an award show. And it was so funny because I went to the actual Golden Globes like this year after, and we had shot that episode at the end of the previous year, and so many people from the episode were there at the Golden Globes, and you could see they were all just like, this is so weird, we were just here. And Zoe Saldana from the Golden Globe, and Ted Sarandos was sitting where I kept away from me, and she almost didn't thank him, and then she thanked him very last at the end of his speech. And he literally looked backwards at me and was like, just got it, just made it under the wire.
It's so great, especially in the show, you actually get the real Ted Sarandos.
Yeah, we do.
By the way, I was nervous for him. I'm like, oh, how's he going to do? He did a pretty good job.
He's funny. You would never know that he'd never acted before.
And you two are doing a scene, you're pissing into a urinal. Ted Sarandos is pissing into a urinal. He confesses to you. The only reason I defend him, I put it in their contract. I mean, that is the greatest fucking thing ever. It's just great.
It's probably something that important to Chance.
Perfect episode.
Oh yeah, it turned out very well. I couldn't believe we got it. He to me is like, of all the cameos we got, like the most surprising in many ways. And he was so funny. Like, it's such a good joke.
You put a lot of effort into an award show. You want to go on.
I try to be funny, yeah. For me, I don't do stand-up anymore, and for me, like, that is like my annual opportunity to get in front of an audience and be funny for 90 seconds.
Do you ever miss the idea of doing it, like maybe putting your neck together?
I don't know, it's funny, like this year, or last year, I had this, we have this charity we put on these comedy shows, and we did a show at the Hollywood Bowl for the Netflix comedy festival. And so to open the show, I often will do like 5 minutes or 10 minutes of sort of stand-up, and it's not something I've done in a long time. The Hollywood Bowl holds almost 20,000 people, which is by far the most amount of people I've ever done something like that in front of. And so leading up to it, I went and like performed my routine at like a place, at like a comedy club, basically, you know. And I have to really be careful with it because like I'm fine. And to me, that is like the scariest thing to be at something is like I'm good enough at it where I could probably squeak by, but I know I'm not really contributing to the stand-up landscape as a whole. Like, I'm fine, you know, and that's why I stopped doing it in the first place, which is like I could just recognize like I could probably do this for the rest of my life and be very okay. But when it came to writing movies and stuff like that, I felt like I was actually doing something that was added, that was different, and was not, it was a little better than just fine, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's how I felt when I did it last year. I was like, yeah, this is fine, and I can write one great joke maybe, and then 3 okay jokes, and that's like not exactly what you're going for, but, and then I go and like Bill Burr performed at the thing, you know what I mean, and like, and he gets up, and I'm like, yeah, he should be fucking doing this, like, this is why I should get out of the way and let Bill Burr just do this fucking thing, you know what I mean, like, he's so much better at it than I am, and that to me is like a good, it's something I could always remind myself.
Yeah, I get that. You're smart enough to know what you're good at, but you know, if you had kept up with stand-up, you know you can get better at it. If you're basically a funny person, and who knows where it might have
I
gone.
also really, and I was like, I hated telling the same joke. And I remember having a stand-up tell me, you'll never be really successful at this if you don't tell the same jokes. Like, I enjoyed writing jokes so much that I would tell a joke once, and if you got a laugh, I'd be like, great, done. Like,
Right, I
put
get that.
it in the funny bit. Like, let's see what else I can come up with, you know? But I wasn't interested in like developing an act, and I think that I also recognized myself later that I would never excel in stand-up comedy. But I just like I didn't like that idea of honing in on a perfect act. Start with this, go to this joke, then go to this joke. To me, that was not interesting. I enjoyed writing the jokes much more than I enjoyed telling them.
Chris Rock once said, this is your radio show. You basically a stand-up act every day.
Yeah.
If you just memorize one of them, you did it. I go, yeah, but I have no interest in that. I don't see the art in it. I mean, I see the art in it. Those guys who do it, I admire it. I think it's the most difficult thing in the world to do, but it wasn't my goal.
No, it's not. I think it's a very society, and I think you should only do it if it's really your goal. Right? I do think a lot of people do it as like a means. Like that's also what I kind of found myself doing as like a means to it. Like for me, it was like the it was like the '90s, like the very logical progression of success in my head was like Seinfeld and funny. I was like, oh, I'll do stand up, and that
Keep
will
it
be the
flat.
thing that allows me to become a performer. Like an actor and a writer. Maybe if I get good enough to stand up, I can write and act on my own movies. That was always the thing I wanted. But like to me, I always loved like Albert Brooks and Woody Allen and Harold Ramis and John Favreau. And those are the guys that were our idols when we were young, And so they were. That was always what I was chasing. Like I always liked Jerry Seinfeld and Billy Crystal. I'm big fans of these people, but and their stand-up. But to me, to be like a writer, performer, director of movies, to be was sort of that goal.
Isn't the hardest part of it too, when you're not a stand-up and you're doing what you do, you come up with great stuff and it takes so long and so collaborative to make a TV show or a movie that you gotta wait like 2 years before you get the laugh.
I know. Right now,
that-
finally. Today, we're getting the laugh for something I thought of 3 years ago.
Right, I mean the studio, when did you conceive of the studio and how long was it taking to get this thing done?
It was like, I rewatched the Larry Sanders Show during the pandemic, and I was like, oh, this is fucking great. And I was like, this would be a fun thing to do. The climate, and at the time also, like, we were deep in the pandemic, and there really was a feeling like, will movies ever be back? Like, will there ever be
Keep
a
it flat.
Hollywood as I understand it again? expensive prices happening in Hollywood, and that was really something that we were all feeling. And so this idea of like, yeah, running a movie studio during a time when perhaps Hollywood is like on its last legs was really like a funny and tragic concept. And we did have these like decades worth of stories, you know, and we always do try to work from a very personal place, and that was a part of it. We were struggling to like find the outlet for what our lives were at this point, you know.
Seth, do you kind of know what happened to some people who are still holding on to the belief that Hollywood hasn't changed? People still should go to movies and all. I mean, the shit that sailed has it not?
I don't think so. Like it's funny. Like that's always been a thought. You know, there's like in the 50s, people Hollywood's dead. You know, it's like there's always been a sense that it's teetering on the verge of disaster. You know, and then the magic of Hollywood, I think, is one movie, one weekend can change the entire outlook of the entire industry. You know,
The Barbie movie.
well, honestly, and that changed the whole show. Like, the show was much more bleak as we were writing it initially. And then the Barbie Oppenheimer thing happened. And we were like, everything's different. Like, we were operating in a world where people were like, movies will never occupy any cultural audience ever again. There will never be an opening weekend like Independence Day, like, where it's like the thing everyone's talking about. And that was true, the prevailing thought. And then in one weekend, we were shown that's not true. Movies can occupy that space. And literally, like, on Friday it was impossible, and on Monday it was no sun. And that is, I think, also like what's so frustrating about Hollywood and what is alluring about these illusions of grandeur, especially if you run a movie studio, is that you think you might be the person to course correct all of the problem. And what's also funny about that is singular people have them. Like, it's an industry where you can like very easily route entire new directions to one person. Like, Robert Evans changed the course of Hollywood. James Cameron changed the course of Hollywood. Ted Sarandos changed the course of Hollywood. You know, like Greta Gerwig changed the course of Hollywood. Christopher Nolan changed the course of Hollywood, and it happens all the time. So you see how. I don't think I could do this, but if you were someone with again kind of were willing to buy more of the illusions of grandeur of it, you could view yourself as the person who single-handedly saved Hollywood, you know, and that allure is real, you know, and very frustrating, I think, to a lot of people who are in a position where they have to choose between take the swing of do we save Hollywood, or do I not get fired? And after they choose not to get fired, that's the whole point of the TV show. Yes.
There's an episode in the studio, again, where Dave, the whole episode, you're arguing that making movies is art, and it's just as important as medicine.
Yeah.
And the doctor and her friends, of course, strongly disagree.
Yeah.
And you're arguing that the art of movie making is as important as medicine.
Yes.
This is what fucking funny.
Yeah, that episode's gonna make a little Albert Brooks movie, shoved in. And that's based on my own insane ego, where well, you know, we have a charity for Alzheimer's, so I find myself at a lot of medical galas and fundraisers and stuff like that. And doctors in particular seem to like really love reminding people in the entertainment industry that what they do is meaningless compared to what they do for a living, you know? And I think they it's not lost on them how much people kiss our asses and how much smoke is blowing up our ass, and they take extreme joy in being the people who are like, we're not gonna fucking do that. What we do is important. What we do is trivial bullshit.
They probably love getting a hold of a guy like me. Yes, Sega generated $9.5 billion in sales, but you know what? We save people's lives.
Fucking lives. Children's lives. And I have been sitting at this table to be like, these motherfuckers how to their face suggest that what we do is different as what you do. Yeah, that was a needle to thread. I think of all the episodes, that was the one where people were like, you might lose us on this one. I think we can pull it off. I think we can do this in such a way that we were actually rooting for my character in some capacity.
What were you doing at the does make sense for you to be there since you did host. Was that a fun thing for you? Did you enjoy it? I would think that'd be right up your alley, and you could
Yeah.
your rights and stuff too.
Oh yeah, for me, like I mean, what was great the first time I hosted that was like all my friends were the people on the show. Like it's when it was Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, Andy Samberg, and Will Forte, and these people that like were my age and my contemporaries. You know,
And Hader was in a movie. Where was he in the movie?
he was in Superbad.
Superbad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you know him?
And he's in Knock also a tiny bit. I met Bill Hader on the movie You Free with Owen Wilson and Matt Dillon. And we're both like friends of Matt Dillon and Owen Wilson in the movie. But that was the first time I met Bill. It was his first year on SNL. And I was just,
Were you blown away by this guy right over this movie?
Yes.
Hader is, I put him in the top echelon guys who have worked on that show. And there's been some great balance, but he is so funny on that show.
oh, absolutely. I met him. I hadn't even seen him on the show. I met him, and he was shooting in Hawaii. I met him there, and I feel like we had written Superbad, and I think we were gearing up to make it. And I feel like I told him I wanted him to be really like the two cops in the movie. I feel like before I even saw him on SNL do anything, I was like, will you be in this movie we're making? Like, he just seemed perfect. And it's so rare to meet someone who was so funny and so talented. Like, you know, and we just got along unbelievably well. We had all the same frame of references, the movies we like, stuff like that. Yeah, he's amazing. And so, yeah, it's great to host SNL. And like, I was obsessed with the shows. You know, I read all the books about it. I'm halfway through the Lorne Michaels book right now. Like,
How is that? Is it good?
it's really good. It's awesome. Yeah, it's great. It's so insightful. I love the biography.
You read about people's lives, right?
Did you read them on Streisand?
Oh yeah. I love it.
Me too.
I had her on the show. I loved every minute of it. You know, I'm in therapy. I still talk to my psychiatrist at least once a week about that book.
Oh, really? But I loved it.
First of all, I don't think Barbara even recognizes how sad the life.
No,
And I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with that book.
it was amazing. Like, the receipts she has. It's like, I love how it was like both an autobiography and a work of revenge.
Yeah. Like she remembers everything, and it's so thorough, and that's what I love about it. It's thorough.
Oh yeah, and she's still like I got to know her. I did a movie with her a while ago, and so I got to hang out with her a bunch, go to her house over and over again, and like she, you know, you'd be in her, she would come to my closet, look at my old clothes, and she pulled out this little tiny pair of shoes, and she goes, "These are the shoes I was wearing the first time I ever sang on stage." And what's amazing is like somewhere in her head, she was like, "I should keep these." Because this is the first time I've ever sung on stage, and when one day when I am one of the most celebrated performers in the history of humanity, this will be an interesting artifact because these were the shoes I wore the first time I was on stage. And it's like an amazing mixture of kind of self-deprecation and self-aggrandizement, which I think also is at the core of a lot of people in show business. And really like it explains that mentality or explores it in a really interesting way.
I was telling you in my mind, I was to say that premise is so funny because me, I saved everything for my career, and that was absolutely worthless.
Yeah, no one wants it.
Nobody wants it. We give it away, and no one wants to take it.
The first microphone I ever spoke into was
an attachment from the city, and there's some strippers out there. You know, it's insane.
someone queefed on this town.
Literally, I got two warehouses full of shit that nobody wants.
Full of queef towels.
Oh, it's so funny. Is it true that like, when you were a really young writer, hanging out with Judd Apatow and Gary Shane, it's somebody's birthday or something, Gary Shane's birthday or Judd's birthday, and you have like no money when you're just starting out the business. This is true, man. It's like laughing. You were invited, was it a birthday party of one of these guys?
I think it was Judd's birthday party. Yes, I think it was Judd's birthday.
Yeah. And you think he took behind you?
Yes, you go to
Where
the
you rest money. You're like, great, Judd Apatow invited me to birthday. And you have no money. And Gary Shane and Judd said at the end of the dinner, I think we should split the bill.
Yeah.
To you, you have no money. And you're like,
I And I knew he ordered like a fucking side salad. I was not at that point in my life living a split the middle lifestyle. Like,
Right.
me and my friends had no fucking money. We were like, oh, you pay for what you eat and nothing else.
Then Darren Shin, and we love him and everything. But he was a big time comedian.
Oh, yes.
Very successful.
Getting truffles and lobster and all this fucking shit. I'm eating lettuce and cherry tomatoes. Like, thinking like, okay, I'll just eat my $30 fucking side salad and call it a day.
Can you have any explanation? Like, did you say to us, Dad, I have no fucking money. You guys are
I just sucked it up there. And ate hot dogs for the next month.
How much money did that dinner end up costing you?
I think it was like $200 a person or something. They were doing organic wine. They were doing like I was laughing. Like I had a little concept of what I was getting myself into.
Didn't you get drunk with Rick James one night? Early
I just had myself. Yeah, I felt myself. Yeah, my friend David Crumbles was like friends with like a club promoter in LA in the late 90s. Yeah, I found myself in a very small VIP room with like me, David, Rick James. I just remember he was wearing platform shoes that made him like 9 feet tall. And and this was like the I'm Rick James bitch, like era Rick James. It was a truly, I wish I had a better memory of the night. I mostly just remember how tall he was. And yeah, it was a weird thing.
He lived a lot of life with friends, and really remarkable ones. You did write them. Now that I think about it, I wrote that was great.
Thanks.
Yearbook.
Rick James started in by running follow-up.
You know, for some reason, whenever I talk to you about drugs, and whatever, this dates back to like when I was in high school. I used to do a lot of drugs. I did stop at some point pretty much at the end, but yeah, and I don't recommend it to the kids, but
What you do that to microdose ever?
no, I do nothing, man.
You drink ever?
No, alcohol, really,
No alcohol. You were 100% lucid.
yeah, I know, I can't say I'm that happy.
No. I would say joy is permeated off you.
I was in Mexico recently, and my wife did a little bit of gummy.
Yeah.
And it was like, you might do a half or something. Let's see what the hell's going on out there now. Because I used to fantasize when I smoked a lot of weed. So, one day I said, people like buying a pack of Marcos.
Yeah.
They rolled it. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
And now that it's here, I'm not doing it. I can't. But don't forget, I'm all dude. The drinking thing was a medical thing. No coffee, nothing.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I smoked weed with some older dudes, and it gets a little touch and go sometimes.
Really? Like it's a bad scene.
Oh yeah. So actually, I smoked Bill Murray, who was on the show yesterday. I smoked weed with him a couple of years ago, and he just took a few hits of the joint I was smoking. And I could tell he got way too high. And I had part of me, oh no, I fucked up Bill Murray. I'm good. I fucking killed Bill Murray. And he was like really hot. And he kept looking at me and he wanted I was getting a look like her, like from him to me, like, you look like you could deal with this. And I'm like, I can deal with this. Can you deal with this? And I was really worried about it. And then I saw him a couple days later. And he was like, you don't remember that weed?
So fun. But you know, I was going to say, drug is so fun.
Oh yeah.
It just is. Cheech and Chong was funny, and going back to those days, you made trouble movies, and it's just funny.
What's funny is the show, the studio, like, I don't know, the last 2 episodes were culminates, is essentially like a drug. Like, it culminates into, like, the most insane, because a lot of episodes are the most famous as well. So, the cinema comics, like, our homage to the Las Vegas experience. So,
But
it's a good point.
I will do responsible. Tell the kid. Be careful. Yeah, that's
Careful.
Not
Be
everyone.
careful. Careful in general, you know?
That's right, man. You should. I did acid, and I'll tell you what, it was the last drug I ever took.
Really?
Yeah, well, I shouldn't even say that because that's not exactly true. But let's say I slowed down a lot.
So now what happened? What was the deciding factor?
took a four-way thing. I was in college. Loser. I was the biggest loser on the planet. Some girl invites me down to my smoked cash with her all day. I was high as a kite. And then she rejected me sexually. So I went home about 10 o'clock at night. I say to my roommate, I'm going to take that acid stuff. I've never taken it before. I take a four-way thing. And every time, all alone. These things be freaking out. I'm completely, it was like a full schizophrenic break, hallucinating all over the place. He puts on the Grateful Dead on the turntable because he thinks that's what you're supposed to do, and now I'm bumming out. They drag me down to the Charles River. I'm staring at the moon, yelling, the sun, the sun. Trying to give me vitamin C and all kinds of shit. It was a disaster. And then 2 weeks later, being the asshole I am, I took a small amount to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey because I wanted to see it.
That's cool. That must be fun.
If I could have seen the I stared at the ceiling the whole time. The ceiling was drooping on us. I mean, it was crazy. And then I said, enough. And I was also fucking out. I fucking out. It was big time fun now. I could have lost my mind. So I am putting that out there.
A good counterpoint.
A counterpoint. It can be very dangerous. You know, Seth is an expert. Let's put it up. Hey, by the way, did I?
No, you did right.
Kevin Shanley didn't hire me. How did he take me to dinner? I'm just a fucking loser who almost lost his mind and had to be hospitalized for life. Like full-on Sid Barrett. No bullshit. I'd be really disgusted. Let me review.
Let's recap.
Let me recap because we've said a lot.
We've said a lot.
The studio is Seth's latest project featuring fantastic. Anyone turn down and the studio? Anyone say reviews that?
Some people just can't wrap their heads around things. Like some people, to some people, that's just like a repellent type, and they don't. Or you'll start talking about it, and they'll want to be like, "What if I'm like this? And what if I'm like this?" And you have to be like, "Well, the joke is you kind of play into how you want perceived." You know what I mean? And you can play against it or into it, but you can't do sort of like the third option, which is just something weird that has nothing to do with how people perceive it.
That's very interesting because one of my career highlights, and that I think about it, was I played myself on the Gladys Hammer show, and I didn't really want to do it, but I loved Harry so much.
Yeah.
I loved that show so much that I went and did it.
It's weird playing yourself for some people. Even I played myself so many times. I made a whole movie where I played myself. And I think when I'm in control of it, it's one thing, but I've done it for other people a few times, and I do understand the discomfort. I do get, it is a weird line blurred thing. And part of you, even though you get that the joke is you are not you get a little protective of your persona, I guess, and how you're perceived sometimes. So some people, the people who say no are largely people who like can't even tell me, "Oh, you'll be on our show." And you're like, "Oh, that sounds fun." And you explain you want to be yourself, and you want to make you look pretty terrible, probably. And just they had a hard time. If anything, I'm amazed at how many people say this. Like I'm amazed that we got these people like Mark Scorsese, Aaron Sorkin.
That's crazy.
People I grew up idolizing, you know. So if anything, I'm amazed at how many people do it.
I love Catherine. Was she in SCTV?
She was on SCTV, yeah.
Man, I love SCTV.
Oh, me too. As a Canadian, like that was it. You know what I mean? Like that's where everyone. And you know, when I was like facing people, Joe Flaherty was popular on the show, and that like blew my mind. You know, like first job I had, I was working with someone who was on SCTV. It was insane.
Anyway, let me review. The point is, that I don't know. That's it. That's really
To me, if you get a second season,
And don't forget, I played myself.
I
in my
know.
own movie.
Your movie was also a big inspiration. We referenced
like when you see the commercial for the iPhone, they say you can really shoot a movie on an iPhone. Do you think it's possible?
You can. Sean Baker, the guy who won the Oscar for Anora, his first film, Tangerine, was shot on an iPhone. And this was like 10 years ago or something. Like this was before iPhones were over there. It's a great film. Like, you would never assume watching it was shot on an iPhone. You know, what's funny is when I was making Fablemans, we did a photo shoot, and Steven Spielberg was going to take the pictures for the photo shoot for W Magazine or something like that. And so it's this huge production. We drive hours out into the desert. I get there. It's like a fucking set. Rick Carter's production designer, design the set. Janusz Kaminski, the cinematographer. These people won multiple Oscars, all of them. His lighting, the shot, you know what I mean? And it's a huge production. Steven Spielberg gets there, kind of looks at us, lines up the shot, and then he reaches into his pocket, pulls out his iPhone, and starts taking pictures on his iPhone. And I was like, "You're doing this on your phone?" And he's like, "It's a great camera. What do you want?" He's like, "It does everything I want it to do."
Some of those videos you put out on Instagram for Houseplant, they look like full-on productions.
Those we use real cameras and see it.
What are you going to win an Oscar? What's your anything left in you? Do you ever fantasize when you're riding parking maybe this has got to be like put it in production. You really think about it.
I don't know. If I ever do, I doubt it'll be something I've written. I think hopefully someone much better will put me in it. Every like few years or so, I get put in a movie by someone else much more talented than I am.
Well, let's remind people Emma Stone's first movie was super bad.
Yeah.
And she won an Oscar.
I sure did.
I could bullshit with you for months. You're great for what we do. It's great. And I'm proud of you. I love your career. I love what you're putting out there for your integrity. Leave it at that until you come back again.
I can't wait until I'm going to through their filming. Yeah.
Great.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Best of luck with everything. We'll smoke some weed. Haven't had weed for 2 hours now.
Yeah.
It's probably coming down.
Exactly. I'll suck your dick for a joint, Howard.
How's reality feel, Tom?
How did you live here?
Sorry, man. Sorry to bring you into the world. Take care. Silver Open, everybody. We love to see you.
for a cheerleader. What are you, Han Solo? Hey, that's why I should have said it the first time. It's so good. Let's do it again. Don't do that. I do that. I've dated tall women, like 6 foot tall women. All we talked about is how we're okay with it. I'm fine. Are you fine? I'm fine. That one got you. I love that so much, man. Great laugh. Don't ever stop it. I love it so much. Get the chain out. Check mine out too. It's too much though. Like it. A girl said, "Yeah, I'll just don't wear this for the rest of my life." You ever had that as a guy? A girl's like, "Nice shirt." You're like, "I'll wear it every day." I envy your youth, man. I just turned 36. Dude. I mean, damn. Oh, shit. Oh, that hurt. That was... damn. I know. That was your real reaction. I didn't know numbers got that high. Where are you from? Slovenia. Whoa. Slovenia. What is that known for? Louis Vuitton? Oh. Yep, in America we got cheeseburgers. In Slovenia, you have Louis Vuitton. What was that? Louis Vuitton. NBA player. Oh, look at that gosh. It's like, what's Ireland known for? Chicken you. That's right, chicken. You're celebrity. I love that. Holy, hey, what are you, a 9-year-old white guy? Hot dog. I'm disappointed that's the only joke that made you do that this whole time. Usually goes out, that's a guy, the joke right there. You know, what you do with animals? He said, ASPCA. RSPCA. Is that ours? A is America. And your ours.
Okay, let's find a new route.
Royal.
Go straight on.
Where are other jets here? Yeah.
Reconvene.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you, dude? Good. Oh, we got the same energy, huh?
Go straight on.
I'm happy you're here. Are you happy you're here? Yeah. Be more like that. Tell me the water. That was me. That was me. Oh, wow, you guys are so disappointed. Siren over there. Oh, no. Watch this. I was so scared. That was on me. It was not on you, Prince. You feel responsible? Don't. Come here, give me consent. Where you from? Whoa! Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I know, like, Irish is very rough and scope it, you're putting it down, you know, down in the middle. Yeah. But you don't have to do the impression. That's just your talk. I almost complimented you on your graph, saying, yeah, good job, you did it. You sound like Willie from The Simpsons. Do you like that stuff? Do you like chocolate? No. She does not. Where is she? Oh, okay. You said she, like she was next to you. Like she does, but then she just like, oh, an empty chair. Like she used to. But then Daddy went a little too hard on that. Our safe word is keep going. That's surprised my girl, man. Toss one up. Alright, cool. I would have liked that for my jokes earlier, but that's fine. What's your kink, baby girl? Italian? That's your kink? Yeah. Instead of normal fingering, he's like, yeah. No, really? That's what it took for you guys to like me, huh? A fingering joke? Those aren't testicles, those are spicy meatballs. Are you a single person? I'm sorry, I'm just falling in love with you, whatever you're saying. Are you a single person? Are you single? No, you're not. Okay, wow, you said that like in an American accent. You're like, hi, man, are you single? No, not for you. Dude. Also, I'm gay. Forgot to tell that too. We all learned that, right? Are you kidding? 73. You know what's weirder than him being 73? Yesterday, he was a prince. A 73-year-old prince. When you were a little girl, I bet you weren't singing something like Christmas Love and expected him like, hello! How are you? If you fall asleep, I'll kiss you. Nothing more than this than a kiss. Over 30, you guys know what you want sexually, which is great. Yeah, over 30. Yeah. How old are you? Yeah. 31. Okay. You're just so happy to be part of this. Over 30? This one's for me. Alright, I'll pay attention, issues. So, women over 32, and here's the thing. Don't even pay attention. Maybe? Record. Alright. I don't know if I'm supposed to do it. I feel like that's the only way I can salute the troops. Thank you for your service. Well, real, thanks for your service, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you doing it, because guys like me definitely can't. Oh, man. I'm not gay, by the way. Do you guys get that vibe? Happy birthday to you, miss. Scorpio season. You're a fucking psycho. Yeah. Every one of my girlfriends has been a Scorpio, and boy, they fucked me up. What are you doing after this? No, I'm kidding. No, I can't.
Go straight on.
What? Do you have kids? No. Well, if you did, it wouldn't work. Do you remember who DMX is? You do. You couldn't name a song. Well, I'll give it to you. That's my favorite moment of all night. Yeah, and she doesn't even know it's funny. You liked it though, that was pretty good, right? This is a song. No, it's okay. I'll tell you later. I went to go get coffee, soy milk for my coffee every day. That's not funny. That's lactose intolerance. That's disability. Clap if you're lactose intolerant here. All within, awesome. No charcuterie for us. Charcutes give us toots, right, girls? So we were just all how tall are you, buddy? 6'6". Okay. Yeah. Easy. You love the statistic, right? I made a mistake. Hey, I'm not your love.
Straight up.
I'm not your dad. He's like, I'm sorry, sir. He's so sure of himself. No, it's like, yeah. What happened, babe? Which one was it? 7th grade. Wait, hold on a second. Why did everyone go, 7th grade? Your grandson is in 7th grade? How old is 7th grade? 12? Oh, it's happening, mama. It's happening. Oh, I'll give you $50 if you grab his socks when we go visit him.
Are you uncircumcised or am I uncircumcised boy's hat? Hell yeah, dude. You look like this. This is a white guy. That's not even what it looks like. I'm so glad I wore sleeves.
Who else had somebody else had an accent from somewhere? Where? What? No, I mean, where are you from? Where? India? Okay, I don't think I can make fun of that one. Who else has that? Yeah, any white ones? Okay, you just have to say it's your birthday. And it's your birthday. It's today? How old, man? What? He has a hat and he didn't want to wear it? Yeah, good call.
Straight on.
Yeah. He said, I'll do the sash, but not more than a hat. Wow. This is your girlfriend? Okay, so looks like she's doing all the talking for your birthday, huh? I mean, I was trying to go back to him, and she's like, fiance, okay? Yeah, so that's forever soon. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I love you. And he's like, she loves me. I'm excited for you, man. That's great. Where did she tell you to propose? It was always their fault, but it was so... What? Yes. Just stop doing that. Really? Yeah, I promise you. I'm telling you whatever. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. And I'm gonna have a funny thing at the end of every story. You just hang in there. It should have been well. I've said that a few times. But this time I mean it. Orgasm. Who's got it though? You got a dog? Hey dog, what you got, dog? What you got? Husky. Nice. What about you? You were so excited. You were so bummed out I didn't. You have 2 dogs? Holy shit. Oh my god, dude. This guy. I didn't know I was talking to Caesar Milano over here. You were so bummed out. You're like, nah, you new school, man. He's got 2. Yo, I mean, I don't want to get crazy. Does anybody have 3 dogs? What kind of dogs do you have, dude? You don't want to say. What kind of answer is that? Dachshunds. Oh, weird dogs. Oh, if you were worried, I'd be like, what do you suck them or something? Yeah. That's cool. You're probably worried I was going to do that. I didn't do it though. You're just worried I was going to do it. I'm letting you know I'm not going to make fun of you having 2 little kids where it's just you and your little brother. It's you share this dog with. Your husband. Oh no! Everyone chill out. Alright, this roast just became a hit crime, I think. Holy shit. That's my favorite kind of dog, dude.
What's your ethnic background, Kevin? Bolivian. Oh wow, nice, dude. So yeah, Bolivian. What? Are you from Bolivia too? Really? Wow, unbelievable. I'm pretty proud of that one, actually. That was cool. Thanks, guys. Are you in college, buddy? What'd you go to school for? You're at NYU. Okay, what are you studying? What's your major? No, it's okay. You didn't do anything. Economics. That's great. What do you want to do? You want to continue being in school? Graduate school. Yeah. And then after that,
Ready?
let's do this. Ready? I'm gonna paint a picture. You're 40 years old. You wake up. Boom. Where are you going? What's your day like? You want to be a professor? Oh, you just want to stay there. That's great. Good for you. You got day one of school. You're like, I like this place. You okay, ladies? Oh, it's the chat. I'm gonna tell you right now who's gonna be in the tab. Okay? I need to know who's before you. All right, start from the left. What's your name? Patty. That's your last name. Oh, I call her Patty. What do you do, Patty? Old high school, high school. Kindergarten through 12. Small town. Right? You got seniors hang out with babies. Like, out of the way, nerd. They fit in the locker so easy. That's what you do. Love it. What's your name is? Victoria. What do you do? You're retired. Okay. So far, you're late. You're paying your tab. I'm not going to put a fixed income over here. What's your name is? BB? You're not paying a goddamn dime. You're not paying a dime. What's that? You pay for everything? Not tonight, BB. What do you do, BB? You're retired as well. Last but not least, what's your name? Paula. And you're a part-time veteran. Okay. Well, I think it's unfair that any of you guys pay the tab. I'm going to pay the tab cash for you. Don't worry about it. Just do me here. Pay attention. Hey, BB, move around. This is fun. Do you want me to ask you? You don't ask me how old you are? BB? Do you want me to not ask you this? I want to respect you. BB, what's the secret?
I'll find
You're
a
so
new
happy. I feel like there's such a joy. You're full of life. A wonderful life. Beautiful friends. I love Who else do I ever ride a bike here? You do? What kind of bike? You're Dutch? Exactly. Yeah, we're Dutch, dude. We're born with a tricycle in our hand. Is that a thing? The Dutch? Really? You have two bikes, right? Is that a thing? Is that your racist thing? You know? Like, oh, Dutch probably have a bunch of bikes in their own. Those biking Dutch. That sounded bad, didn't it? Wow, that's great. Like you guys, how long did it take you guys to bike here? Like for real? That's insane. Because you know the Dutch. That's so crazy. You guys ride bicycles? The Dutch. You like bicycles? A tree fall on you on a bicycle? Wow. Wait, a tree fell on you on a bicycle? It fell on the bike. Wow. Ooh, this is a real relationship right here. It didn't fall on you, it fell on the bike. It didn't fall on you. It fell on the bike. And then how did I feel at the time? It hurt. It hurt. That's you guys. It fell on the bike. Are you okay? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I've survived worse. You're feeling okay? Did you get hurt? You got a gash? I'd like to say wound or something. You guys are together, right? What did you notice about him right away?
That he was bald.
That he was bald? When you see your reflection, you're like, you just walk over to him like, that's my guy right here. Is that what you liked or you noticed? This is what you noticed. notice about her? He's scanning her, like, her smile, great, you got out clean. Oh, that's... He's like, big fat dude. Do you do porn too? No? Okay. You're at the same table, you know each other though, right? You don't have the skill set. Are you friends? Have you ever seen... Yeah? You're like, alright, see you later, man. That's crazy, man. Do you have a fun porn name? No? You want to share it? No, you don't want to share it. That's okay. They always say it's the street you grew up on, and then your child, your first pet's name, and the street you grew up on. Is that yours? All right, cool. I'll ask you a totally unrelated question. What street did you grow up on? I'm just curious. What do you do? Are you retired? Criminal defense. What? What? Criminal defense attorney. He defends criminals. And you're like, you're doing the Lord's work. All right.